Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Logan. I love all things crochet. I especially love to crochet plushies. Today's video, I'm going to be letting a wheel decide what I make for the day. If I do really enjoy it, I'll just continue it on to the next day. But I did talk about this in a previous video, letting a wheel decide what I make in the Crochet by Jenna book. And I did get a couple of comments saying they loved the wheel idea. So I thought I would change it just a little bit, and I have quite a bit of patterns on my Etsy cart that I really like and I really want to make. So I thought I would just buy these patterns and make whatever the wheel tells me to. I'm just going to insert them all in. I do have 11 patterns in my cart. That may sound like a lot, but what I like to do is bulk buy a whole bunch of patterns at one time. I don't really like to buy just one pattern at a time. I'll just let them pile up in my cart, and when I think there's enough, I'll just purchase them all. I have all my patterns downloaded. I have my wheel all set up. I have my coffee, and I am ready to go. So I have all of it entered in on my wheel here. So I'm going to screen record and we will see what I'm making. Okay, we are making a banana goose. This pattern is from Therapy on My Hook, I believe. Let me just make sure. Yes, Therapy on My Hook, and I will show you what the little banana goose looks like. Here's what he looks like, super cute. So it looks like I need a really light yellow or a cream, a lighter yellow, and then a kind of mustardy brighter yellow. So I'm gonna go back here to my yarn wall and pick out the shades that I need, and we will get started on the banana goose. We have officially finished our first pattern. Here he is. How adorable is this? The feet were super easy to make. They took a minute each to make, and then I just had to sew them on. And then these little leaves are crocheted in the front loop only. So the feet are the only thing that you have to sew on in this pattern, or the hat. If you want to do the hat, you do have to sew that on as well. But I kind of like him without the hat. I also want to mention this is the mini banana goose pattern. So I believe they have just the mini banana goose and then the regular size banana goose. But how adorable is this? It took me about an hour-ish to make, not quite, but look at him. I love him. Okay, moving on to the next one, I'm going to screen record, and we will move on to the next pattern. Yay! This is the caterpillar from All From Jade. It is the like little fidget caterpillar. This is the mini one. I definitely just wanted to get the mini one just to see what the hype was about with them, and I think these will sell really well at markets. So I am going to grab the colors that I need, and I need to look at the pattern and see how many colors I need, and then we will get started on it. The next pattern is all finished. I think these are gonna sell really well at markets because kids will love to fidget with them. I also love that this could be a scrap buster. You don't need much yarn at all. The only thing you really need to stuff is the head and then the tail. And the tail I actually just stuffed with the what I cut off the little ends of these middle colors here. So that's all that I stuffed it with. So I love that she gives an option in the pattern to batch make these. I'm definitely going to be using that when I am making, when I'm prepping for my market, but I don't think I'm going to sell this one just because it was my first time doing it, and the way I attached it, I feel like I need to do it a little bit stronger, a little bit tighter. So I'm just going to give this to my best friend. She'll really like it, so I'm just gonna give this to her just because I definitely need to attach it a little bit stronger than what I have. I don't know if you can see, but I don't want a little kid to get this and then be able to like rip it apart. So I love that you can just put this on your hand. So I'm definitely going to batch make these, but yeah, this is the second pattern that I have made today. So I'm going to go onto my wheel and let's spin to see what we're making next. Yay, we are going to make Paul the pigeon. This is a pattern from Hooks and Healers. I have really been wanting to make this, and I have really been wanting to buy the pattern. I just never got around to it. So I'm really excited to make this. I'm gonna see how many colors I need. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I believe I'm going to need 5 colors for this. So, and I love that, so far I love that I'm getting a little bit of the smaller ones so that I can make them a little bit quicker. So I'm gonna grab the colors behind me and then we will get started on the next one. Here is Paul the pigeon all finished. I love how he turned out. I definitely want to make some more of these for my markets. There is an option to give him a hat, so I may make that a little bit later if I decide to. Maybe I'll make a couple of them and then some of them have hats and some of them don't. I love the size, and the great thing about this is this used up the rest of this dark gray skein. What I had left was the perfect amount. I didn't have anything left over, so that was really nice. I'm glad to get that out of my yarn stash. But yeah, here he is, and I am gonna go to dinner and then I will be back to work on another one. I'm going to maybe make one more for today, but I love doing this, so I'm definitely gonna keep going. But yeah, so here he is. Really love him. And I will be back after dinner and then I will start making whatever else the wheel tells me to make. It's the same day, just a bit later, and I did change my shirt, but I'm going to move on to the next one. I'm not sure how much I'm gonna get done with this one. Depends on how big it is because it is 9 o'clock at night, but I'm going to go ahead and spin the wheel and we will see what we get. We could not have gotten a better one for how late it is. I am going to be making a squirrel. This pattern is from, let me pull it up because I'm not 100%. I think it's Avery Crafts a Lot is the, yes, Avery Crafts a Lot is the pattern creator. And it's just going to be this little tiny squirrel that fits in the palm of your hand. I am so excited to make this, and it's really quick, so I'm going to be able to finish this tonight. I'm really glad that this was the one that was drawn. So I'm going to pick a color from here and make it with that. I think I want to use Premier Basic Chenille with this one instead of Parfait Chunky. So I'm gonna pick out a brown color and then we will start on the squirrel. Here is my little squirrel. He is so cute and tiny, just fits in the palm of your hand. This took me about 20-30 minutes to make. I accidentally skipped around, so I had to go back and redo it. So I think the next time it would take me about 15-20 minutes to make, since now I know the pattern. But yeah, I think he's so cute. I definitely want to make him with a little fluffy tail. I'm going to be making some of these for my market. I definitely want to make more than one. I think I'll just make a couple of them just to see how they sell in a couple different colors, and then of course change the tail to a fluffier tail. But yeah, here he is. I think I'm going to call it a night. I have really been enjoying this. I have loved every single pattern that I've made. So I'm definitely going to be continuing this on to the next day. But I was able to make 4 patterns today. I wish I would have made more, but I was doing a couple of different things today. I had to be an adult and do laundry and dishes and pick up the house and clean up the house. And also I made some Chex Mix today because my friends and I are having a Twilight extravaganza. I have never watched Twilight before and all of my friends have, and they really want me to watch all of them. So we are going to watch all of them in one day, and I decided to make Chex Mix for it. So we are going to do that tomorrow. So I'm not going to be able to spin the wheel tomorrow. I'm going to work on some mini items for my markets tomorrow, but I will definitely do it the next day. So I am really loving this. I am really excited about these patterns. I've had really good luck with these so far. I'm very excited for them. So I think that'll be it for the night, and I will see you all in the next one, which is like 2 days. It is a new day and time to spin the wheel. Okay, we got Clown Frog. So I almost forgot to start screen recording this, but I did it at the very end. So we got Clown Frog, and this pattern is by Alpaca Patterns, and I will show you what it looks like. Here he is. I think I'm going to use Premier Basic Chenille for this one, so I'm going to pick out my green, and then I'm going to do cream or white, and then I will pick out my 2 colors for his little outfit, and then we will get started. I have all 4 of my colors picked out. These are all from Premier Basic Chenille Brights. This is Cotton Candy, Periwinkle, Kiwi, and White. So I was doing a little bit of reading on this pattern. It is no-sew, and I am going to use Sinker Eyes for this. So I'm going to have to pick out a color for that, but I'm going to get started on it, and then I will pick out a shade after that because I want to be able to put them in and see what they look like with all the colors and everything. So I'm going to start, it looks like you start with the head and work your way down. So that is what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to get started and I will update you along the way. I forgot to update, but here is my frog so far. I ended up using 14mm eyes from The Girl Who Knots. This is the shade Hibiscus, which is a really pretty pink shade. I am going to work on the color now. I'm using the white. Here is my Clown Frog all finished. I love the colors that I used for this. And as I was crocheting it, I realized that I pretty much matched my sweatshirt that I'm wearing. But I really love this. I love how there are 2 halves. I think the next time I make it, I might try to do just a full colored one, but have it variegated. I think that that would be really cool as well. But I love this little guy. He's so small and chunky, and I just love these colors together. I'm definitely gonna make something else with these colors. But yeah, so we have 5 patterns done so far. I am going to grab my wheel here and we will start spinning. Okay, we have Jubilee the baby dragon, and this is from Posy Creates. I did see Sweet Beans Crochet. She talked about this pattern, and I thought this is just such the perfect small dragon pattern. Here is a picture of what the pattern looks like. So I will go ahead and pick out my colors. I will see how many different colors I need, and then I will pick out my eyes as well. It doesn't look like it will take too long to make, so I'm very excited to try this one out. I think you need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 colors, but I can do some of the colors the same. We will see what I decide, but I'm gonna go over here. It might take me a little bit to try to decide what kind of vibe I'm going for, and then I will be back. I finished my Jubilee, the baby dragon. I'm not sure if I showed you the colors or not. I don't think I did. I ended up using cream for the body, and then for all of the accent pieces I used Haze, which is one of the new colors from Parfait Chunky, as well as Maple Leaf and Goblin. These are all of the new ones from Parfait Chunky, and then I used Pale Blue. I thought that this would be a really cool color combination, so I'm going to show you what it looks like. Here it is all finished. I ended up using these blue eyes from The Girl Who Knots. I know I used a pair of her eyes for the clown frog, and then I decided to use this. I believe this is the shade Mana. But yeah, this is what the dragon looks like. I really love all of the colors together. I used Pale Blue for the horns, the spike I used Goblin, I used Haze for the wings, and then I used Maple Leaf for the tail. I just thought that this was an interesting color story, something different, but I thought the cream looked really good with it. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna make a couple more of these for my markets because they are pretty small, so I think a lot of people will gravitate towards those. And we will move on to the next pattern. Okay, we'll see what we get. Okay, we got a little Dachshund. This pattern is from, let me see if I have it here. Okay, I had to go back on Etsy. It is from Elegant Purely, and there are a couple different options for this. You can make a little sweater for it, or you can just have it plain. I think I'm gonna make it plain for now, although I do really want to do a sweater, but I think for now I'm just gonna do it plain and see how it sells, and then if they sell well, then I'll make more. But I think for now I'm just gonna make the little plain one. This should not take too long, I don't think. It doesn't look like it is a very big pattern. It looks like it'll fit maybe in the palm of my hand. So I'm gonna pick out a brown color. Actually, I need to pick out 2 brown colors, and then I need black for the nose. So I'm gonna grab those, and then I will get started on it. Here is the Dachshund all done. I think it turned out adorable. I love that it just fits right in the palm of your hand. Definitely the next time I do this, I will be using the safety nose, and I think next time I will use bigger bobble stitches. I did test it out and it does sit perfectly. It's not too top heavy over here because I really sewed it on, and I made sure that it would not tip over because the head is too big. So I really love how it turned out. I think the next time I were to make it, I would use basic chenille just so it turns out a little bigger, since you do have to sew on the ears and then you have to sew on the head. And just for the size of it, I think for it to be worth it for me to sell at markets would be to make it a little bit bigger. But yeah, I think it turned out really cute. But we only have 4 more patterns left. I'm going to spin it and see what we get. Okay, we have the Stardew Valley chicken. Now this is a chicken pattern from the Celestial Homebody, and it's a Stardew Valley inspired chicken. So this is what the chicken looks like. If I do like this pattern, I think I'm going to make this body style instead of the Mabel chicken, just because everyone has the Mabel chicken at their table and I want to be a little bit different, and I really like that this one has a head. I'm not sure if I'm gonna do the blue chicken like the ones on Stardew Valley, or if I'm just gonna do a white one just to see how it looks. I think that's what I'm gonna start off with first, just to see if I like this pattern before I make a blue chicken. So I think I'm gonna make a white one first. I'm gonna grab my yarn. I think I am going to use basic chenille just so it turns out a little bit bigger than the regular Parfait Chunky, just because when I normally make my chickens I use Bernat blanket. So I kind of want to test this out with the yarn that I would normally use. I use basic chenille and then also Bernat blanket, but my Bernat blanket is not over here, so I would have to go somewhere else to go grab it. So just really quickly, I'm just gonna grab it right behind me and get started on it. I finished my Stardew Valley chicken. I love how this turned out. I will definitely be making these instead of the Mabel chicken. I may test it with my first market and do a couple of Mabel chickens and a couple of these, just to see what people gravitate towards more. I embroidered the eyes on these because it is pretty thin between the head, so I didn't want you to be able to squeeze and feel the safety eyes, but I really like how the eyes are embroidered on. Obviously saves me on material since I'm just using little scrap pieces of black. But this took me about 30 minutes to make, which I don't think is bad at all. I think the Mabel chicken takes me maybe 20, so it's really not that big of a difference, and I do get a bigger plushie. But yeah, I really like this. I'm definitely gonna be making more of these, and then we will move on. We only have 3 more patterns left. Yay, I wanted to make this. This is Leaf the Garden Sprite. This is from Crochet with Kelsey. I saw her recent YouTube video and she had made a couple of them, and I was like, you know what, I really want to make that. I want to have some different items at my markets, so I thought it would be a good idea to purchase the pattern and buy it. It is just a little garden sprite and he has a little leaf on his head. I don't know if I'm going to do the leaf on the head. I might just do the actual body without the leaf, just to see what it looks like. I have some fun eyes, so I might play around with that. I'm not sure what color I'm going to use. I think I might actually use a green color, and then I will see. She uses 25mm eyes, but she uses chenille Home Slim, so I think with Parfait Chunky I'll be able to use a smaller yarn. So I'm gonna pick out my color, pick out my eyes, and then I will get started on the garden sprite. I love this so much. It is probably my favorite thing that I have made so far. I want to put it on my desk. I think it will go perfectly right there. Also, I don't know if I can part ways with it because I just love it so much. I spent about an hour and 20 minutes making this with sewing included, just because there's so many pieces that you have to sew on, which really isn't that big of a deal because the pieces are really small and I did not have a problem sewing them on at all. So yeah, it took me about an hour and 20 minutes. I want to make at least 1 or 2 for my upcoming market, just to see how they sell, if you know, it brings attention to anyone. But I just am so in love with it. Are you ready? Here she is. Oh, I love her so much. These are the eyes I picked out. These are from Sweet Beans Crochet. I'm not sure what shade they are, but they have white pupils. And then the eyes are pink, but they reflect orange and purple, and also in some lights they reflect a little bit of green, which I thought was the perfect little touch. In the pattern, she has the garden sprite holding a dandelion, but I didn't really want to do that. I didn't think it matched the vibe with the eyes, but at first I didn't have it holding anything, and I was like, I really think it's missing something since these eyes are so, they pop out so much. I was like, I think she needs to be holding something. So I decided to make a little flower or star, whatever you think. I personally said it was a flower, but I made it with white glitz, so it is sparkly, so that made it look kind of like a star. But I'm gonna zoom in and see if you can see the little sparkles on it. But yeah, I am so in love with this. Definitely one of my favorite things that I have ever made, and it's just so tiny. I love it. Okay, you can definitely see the sparkles in the yarn, and then let me see if you can, oh yes, you can really see the shift on the eyes here. I love it. I was able to make 5 different patterns today, which I think is really good. I still have 2 left, but it is just a little after 9 o'clock, so I think I am going to leave that for tomorrow, just because I don't want to start on a pattern and not finish it, or get halfway done, or you know, kind of start on it and be like, oh, I really don't want to do anymore. So I think I'm just going to call it a night. I do need to do some editing on a video, so I'm just going to leave it at the 5 patterns today. I'm really happy with myself that I was able to make that many new patterns in one day. But yeah, I'm really happy with this one. I love it so much. I can't wait to go through all of the patterns that I have made using this wheel. But yeah, I will see you all tomorrow when I'm ready to spin the wheel again. It is the next day and we are down to the last 2 patterns. So I am going to spin the wheel and see what we get. Okay, we got Silly Goose. So this is a pattern that it's a 2-in-1 pattern. It's Silly Goose and Party Pigeon. So this is by Crafted for Comfort, and I'll show you a picture of what they are supposed to look like. So here's what they're supposed to look like. I'm not sure if I want to do the goose or the party pigeon. I haven't decided yet. I'm thinking maybe the goose. I'm going back and forth because we've already done a pigeon, so that's like one reason why I kind of want to do the goose. But I did a banana goose, but this isn't really like a goose, whereas this is a pigeon. So I think I'm going to do the goose, so I'm going to pick out a couple colors. I am wondering, instead of the little jester hat, if I can actually do the party hat. So I'm going to play around with this just a little bit and pick out some of the shades, and then I will get started on the goose or pigeon. And then after that, we only have one left, and the last one left is the mini anchor, the octopus. This is from Humble Child Co. If you're on Instagram, you have probably seen this all over. There is a big version and then a mini version. I didn't think I wanted to tackle the big version just yet, so I thought just buying the mini version would be just fine. So obviously I don't need to spin the wheel for that one because this is the last one left, so I'm just gonna kind of spin it here just for fun. But yeah, that is the last one left, so I'm gonna work on the pigeon or goose, and then after that I will work on mini mini anchor. So I'm gonna go pick out my shades really quickly and I will get started on it and I will update you. I ended up doing the goose and I decided to put the party hat on it. In the pattern it does have the goose with a jester hat and then the pigeon with the party hat, but I thought it would be fun to add a little party hat to the goose, and I love how it turned out. I think it is so adorable. I love the colors that I used for it. I don't know, I just really love how this turned out. I am definitely going to sell this at my market, see how it sells. I might make another one as well, depending if I have a time or not. I don't know, I just really love how this turned out. I don't know if I would make the jester hat on it. I think I might stick with the party hats, but just for time. But I don't know, I really love how this one turned out. I am going to call it a night. This is the only thing that I'm going to do tonight. So I am going to work on the last pattern, which is the mini anchor pattern. So I'm going to work on that tomorrow. Hopefully I will finish it tomorrow, but it might be a 2-day project since I do work a full-time job. But I will see you all tomorrow. We have officially finished the last pattern of the Spin the Wheel challenge. This is Mini Anchor the Octopus. This was definitely the biggest and longest pattern that I had, and luckily it was the last one. This took me 2 days to finish. It took me about 5 or 6 hours to make the whole thing, and one day I did all of the white baubles. I did all of that in one day, and then I was making a couple of other things. I had an order that I needed to work on, so I didn't like work on this fully for 5 or 6 hours. This was just split into 2 days. So the first day I made all of the baubles, and then the second day I made all of the top part of the tentacles, and then made the whole body and attached everything. So I really love the yarn that I used. I love how the tentacles are different colors. So this one is lighter than this one. I just kind of grabbed and picked random ones. Some of them are pretty much the same shade, but I used the darker color of the skein. I will show you what that looks like. I used Bernat Baby Blanket Dapple, and this is Misty Jungle Green. So this is how much I have left out of the whole big skein. I started in the center and I made everything with the center except for the top piece here. I used the darker outside color here just so there was a little bit of contrast to it, and I think it turned out really cool. I love this pattern. I am really glad I bought the mini because I think the larger one would take me way too long, and for the price I don't think I could get my money's worth selling it at a market. So this is plenty big, but I really love how this one turned out. I'm only going to make one for my market, see if it gets any attention, see if it sells, and then maybe I'll make another one. But yeah, I really love how this one turned out. I'm really happy with the finished product. I'm gonna go through all of the patterns that we used, starting from the very beginning. So the first one was the banana goose, and this pattern is from Therapy on My Hook. So this was the first one that we made. I really love how all of these turned out. I've been wanting to make this one for a while, and so I'm glad I bought the pattern and was able to make it. Really super easy. This is crocheted in the front loop, and then you just work your way out, and the only thing you have to really sew on is the little feet. But I really like how that one turned out. And then we have Camille the Caterpillar. This is a pattern from All From Jade. Like I said beforehand, I am going to make quite a bit of these for my next market. She does give an option where you can batch make 8 of them, so I'm definitely going to do that. I will say the next time I do it, I need to use a different yarn to attach all of these pieces, just because the yarn I used wasn't as strong as I wish it would have been, but it was my first time doing the pattern, so I didn't really know what to expect. But now for next time I know what yarn I'm going to use. So this one is just gonna go to my friend. She knows, I've already told her about this, but she's excited to have this one, so I'm going to give it to her. I also love the colors. I'm definitely going to mix up the colors as I'm making these, but yeah, that's what that one looks like. And then we have Paul the pigeon. This pattern is from Hooks and Healers, and I'm really glad I bought this pattern because every time she talks about it, I'm like, I should really buy this pattern, and I just never really get around to it. So I really love how this one turned out. I love how chunky he is, and he just sits there. I am definitely gonna make him a hat. I want to make him the beret because I think that would be super cute to put on his little head for markets. He'll just have a little hat. But yeah, I really like how that one turned out as well. And then we have this squirrel pattern from Avery Crafts a Lot. I love how small this turned out. I love the size of it. I just love how it looks. This is called a low-sew squirrel, but I would really call it a no-sew squirrel. The only sewing you're doing is tacking the tail. So I just took the tail from the tail and I just tacked it up against the body. So I really wouldn't call that sewing, but, and then these are surface crocheted in the, so that's pretty much it. That's the little squirrel pattern. I'm definitely gonna make a couple more of these for my markets because they're just so tiny and cute. I love them. And then next we have the clown frog pattern. So this is from, if I can find it here, this is from Alpaca Patterns. So this is the clown frog. I'm really happy with me getting it like pretty much all straight, the color changes all straight. And then I have little sparkly eyes, little sinker eyes for it. So I'm really happy with the way that this one turned out. I'm only gonna make one for my market, so I'm just going to see how this one sells. Again, see if it gets any attention at all. I don't want to make a whole bunch of these because of all the color changes. But yeah, so we made that one. Whoa, I almost dropped it. And then we have Jubilee the baby dragon, and this pattern is from, I believe it's from Posy Creates. Yes, Posy Creates. So then we made this Jubilee the dragon. Again, this one is super easy for markets. I am going to make a couple more of these in different colors. I have a really cool idea for one of them. I'm going to do kind of a foresty themed one, and I'm going to use like, I don't want to say fur yarn, but kind of like Little Bunny, and wrap it around the tail. But I need to buy a green color so it looks like moss or something like that. But I love the colors. I love the eyes that I used. I really like that I used different colors for everything. You do have to sew on quite a bit of this, which it doesn't really bother me that much since the sewing, it's not like big, really big pieces. You're just sewing on these little limbs, the horns, the wings. So it's minimal, but it's just a lot of things that you have to sew on. You also have to sew this on as well. But yeah, that is my little dragon. The next pattern is from Elegant Purely. This is the Dachshund pattern. I just did the regular Dachshund. They do have an option to give it a little sweater, but I wanted to do just a plain one just to see how the pattern worked up. For whatever reason that day, I was having trouble embroidering a nose, so I just used a safety nose, and I think that goes by a lot faster. So definitely the next time I make it, I'll just do a little safety nose because I think it is just as cute. I think the next time I make it, I will do it in bigger yarn because for the size of it, I don't really think it's worth me making it. It really didn't take too long, but I think for me to get my money's worth would be to make it in like basic chenille. I think would be a good yarn to use, but I do think this is an adorable pattern. I really only think I could charge like $10-12 for this, so definitely to get my money's worth I will use a bigger yarn. But it was pretty easy to work up, not much sewing as well. You have to sew the ears on and then the head to the body, and they're small pieces, so it's not that much. So that's the little dog. I might make 1 or 2 more in that size for my markets just to see how they sell, and then maybe I'll make a bigger one as well. Next up we have the Stardew Valley chicken by the Celestial Homebody. I wanted to make a different chicken other than the Mabel chicken just because everyone has the Mabel chicken at their tables, and I wanted something just a little bit different, similar enough but a little bit different. So I decided to go with this one because I really like the head, and it worked up almost in the same amount of time as the Mabel chicken. This one just took a little bit longer, and I think me just charging a little bit more is going to be worth it being a different pattern. But I really do like this little chicken. Well, it's not really a little chicken, it's a pretty good size, so I'm definitely going to make some of these in Bernat. I used Premier Basic Chenille for this one in the white, so I'm definitely going to use Bernat. But yeah, I really love how this one turned out. I think my next market I'm going to have a couple Mabel chickens and a couple of these just to see what people gravitate towards, so I know which one to make. But I just love how this one looks more like a chicken than the other one. Moving on to probably my favorite thing that I have made. I know I said this before when I was showing you the first time I made it. This is Leaf the Garden Sprite. It is from Crochet with Kelsey. I don't know if it is the eyes, the color of the eyes, the color of the actual plushie, but I love this so much. I am not going to sell this one. I'm going to keep it for myself. But I am definitely going to make a couple more of these for my markets. I'm going to make, I think, a blue one, a purple one would be really cool. I'm going to make another green one, but I'm going to keep this one for myself. But I love this one. I don't know why I love it so much. You do have to do a little bit of sewing, but it's not too bad or anything like that because all of the pieces are pretty small. I would like to make a big version of this just to see like the size comparison because I used Parfait Chunky, so maybe a Bernat blanket or a big twist plush just to see how big I can get it and see if anyone would be interested in it. But for now I'm going to make a couple of the smaller sized ones just to see if people like them. But I really love this one. I definitely recommend this pattern, but I'm going to keep this one for myself. Another one of my favorites is the Silly Goose and Party Pigeon. This pattern is from Crafted for Comfort. I ended up putting the party hat on top of the goose instead of the jester hat just because it was going to be easier for me, and I had a really bad headache when I was making this, so I knew that this would be the easiest thing for me. I really love how it turned out. I love the shape of the body, and I definitely want to make another one of these, and I also want to make the pigeon version of this. But yeah, I really love how this one turned out. I love the little party hat. I think it is adorable. I love how it just kind of like hangs there and he just hangs out. And it's his birthday. But yeah, so this one was another one of my favorites. And last one, we already talked about this mini anchor, the octopus. I really love how this one turned out. I definitely want to make a rainbow version of one because I've seen quite a bit of people do that and I really love how it turned out. But for now, I'm just gonna stick with this one and see how it sells at my next market. Yeah, that is all 11 patterns that I made using the spin the wheel challenge. I really loved this challenge. I thought it was so much fun. I enjoyed making all of the patterns. I definitely want to do this again, but I want to use patterns that I have bought but I haven't made yet. So I'm definitely going to do that the next time, but I really enjoyed making all of these patterns. I really had so much fun doing it. Let me know which one was your favorite one that I made out of all of these. I'm sitting here, I know Leaf, the garden sprite, is definitely my favorite, but I really just love all of these patterns that I made. I'm really happy with all of them. So let me know in the comments below which one is your favorite one, and if you want me to do this again, because I had so much fun doing this challenge and I hope you enjoyed watching it and following along with me. But yeah, that is it for today's video. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time I upload a video, and also follow me on Instagram at sunnydays_crochet, and I will see you in my next one. Bye everyone, have a good one.